So with that being said, Mitch, we'll go ahead and kick it off to you and we'll get started.
Yeah, appreciate it, Chad. Thank you so much, and welcome everybody. Good to see everyone here as well. Today we will be talking about the grant managed system. Vince will be going through and doing a demo. As Chad mentioned, we are recording this, and so if you or your colleagues do miss some of this presentation or miss this presentation, will be available later on the WBO website where you'll be able to access this. I think this is a pretty important one. For those of you that have done grant programs in other states. Also known previously as Amplifund, you may be familiar with this specific one. This is the first time we're using it here in Wyoming, but it's a kind of a prevalent grant management system that a lot of the states have been using, now and previously as well. With that said, I will kick it over to Vince, and he can go through the technical details of the UniGrants Amplifund, powered by Amplifund tool for you all to use.
Thanks for that, Mitch. Um, I am gonna get started. If you can go to the next slide, show us, this is just a brief little agenda. We're gonna talk through activating your account to start, adding users, general navigation, location of things in Una, and then probably the most relevant pieces will be payment request submission and report submission. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the screen away.
And Vince, sorry to interrupt you. I'd like to add one more additional thing.
Mhm.
We will be taking questions. We'll be doing Q&A. You'll find the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and then we'll go through the questions at the end of the presentation. Thanks, Vince.
Yeah. So the very first thing that will happen is you'll get an email that looks something like this from UniGrants Administrator. It'll say, hey, you've been invited to use UniGrants. You've been awarded um, a contract. Click this link to set up your password. Or if you already have an account with Una, if you've maybe submitted in another state or anything like that, it should just be added to your pre-existing account. So you'll click this link, it'll ask you to set up an account, and then once you log in, you will end up on this landing page. This calendar is going to be useful. It will have some due dates for some things. It'll send you reminders about certain things. Right now it's empty because there's no due dates right now, but in the future, this will have some pretty useful information for you. To add other members of your organization, you'll navigate to Administration, System Security, and then Users over here on the left. And then you can see we just have the one here right now. That's me. To add a new one, you'll click this Create button in the top right. Daily and weekly emails can be useful. They will also send you reminders about payment requests and due dates and that sort of thing. It's personal preference if you'd like to keep them on or keep them off. I do recommend leaving them on at first. You can always turn them off or turn them back on. The first relevant section, the departments can be relevant for your internal records, but it's not necessary to set up. You do need to assign some permissions. So account all records will select everything. For any given thing, you can select admin, editor, user, or view only. There are slightly different permissions for each one. Um, Editor can edit but can't create records. User can document some things, and view only is what it sounds like. They can only view records. Admin can do everything. Um, this applications won't be relevant for the most part, but most of the work you'll be doing will be in this grants category. When I'm adding new people, I generally add them as account admins. You can further apply restrictions. So they won't be able to see, for instance, if I clicked the budget, they wouldn't be able to look at the grant budget in UNA. You would add their first name, their last name. You can add title, supervisor, address, but the only other required thing besides permissions, first and last name, is their email address. Once you add their email address, I'm just going to cancel out of this, you would hit create and it would create a user. Wait, sorry about that. Once you create a new user, it would populate on this table and you would click this envelope button to send an invitation. It'll ask you if you want to send an invitation, and it'll send essentially that exact same email that I showed you earlier. It'll ask them to set up an account, or it'll just add it to their existing account. This left bar is how you'll navigate through most of UNA. Generally, when you're navigating inside of an object, there will be tabs up here. I'll show you that in just a second. But most of your work will be done in this grants management and then grants page. From there, you'll see a list of your awards. If you only have one, like this account, you'll only see the one. But if you have more than one, you'll see all of them here and you can enter them separately. I'm going to go ahead and enter into this test award. And this will bring up this, this will bring up this award details page. This gives you just kind of a bird's eye view of your grant. It tells you the grant funded amount, how much you've expensed to date, how much you've invoiced to date, that sort of thing. There are other pieces of data in here that you can explore, but the next place to look is under this post award, and this is that top bar I was talking about. You can see now that I'm within an object, I can navigate to details, analytics, post award, and the next relevant place to look is going to be post award, financial, and then budget. So in here, you can see UNA calls these expenses, but it's really more accurate to think of them as your milestones. By default, this line items is unchecked. I recommend checking it. It just makes things a little easier to see. And you can see here, I can check, okay, my project plan, I have one milestone for 5,000. My engineering, I have 5 for 2,000. That sums up to 10,000. It's a good way to reference your budget without digging through your contract. The next thing to do with financials is also under this post award tab, but this time you're going to cash flow and then payment requests. And this is how you're going to submit for milestone completion. You can see I already have some in here from when I was running some tests, but to create a new one, just like you were creating a new user, you're going to click this plus item in the top right, and it'll take you to this page. Our request for your the naming standard for your payment request name will be your award number. In this case, it's just sample 1, and then hyphen, and then the milestones you're submitting for completion. You are allowed within a payment request to submit within a milestone. So you saw, I'll show this again in just a second. You saw that in engineering, I had 5 milestones that I could submit for. You could submit 3 of those at once, but if you wanted to submit those and your project plan milestone, those would have to be 2 separate payment requests. And I'll show you that again in just a minute. So in this case, I'm going to submit for project plan. You can leave date created as it is. Your reporting periods can stay blank. Expenses from and to, you're going to set to today's date. The next thing you'll do is you'll click this Create New Expense button. And it'll bring up this little pop-up. You'll select your category, which is the category of the milestone, overarching milestone. In this case, again, I'm doing project plan. And then you'll select the line items. So there's only one for project plan, but if I were selecting engineering and permitting, I would select one of these. You'll enter the direct cost, which is the amount in your budget. So in this case, mine was $5,000. You'll enter the expense date. You will also enter this as today, and you'll leave everything else as is, and then hit create. And it should populate in just a moment. There we go. And you can see now I have a line in here against project plan. I'm expensing $5,000. And I'm going to copy this bottom bolded number and just paste it right in here. In this comments page, comments field, you can leave any comments you think may be useful to us in our review. In this attachment field, you can upload the documents that are required for confirming your milestone is complete. So in this case, I have all of these. I need to submit my EHP questionnaire, my evidence of match obligation, all sorts of things, and I'll just attach them here. And it should take just a second longer to populate. If I am ready to submit, I can click submit right here. But if I'm in the middle of gathering my requirements or I just wanted to get this started and come back to it later, you can click this create button, which will create a record of it, but it won't submit it, so you can come back and edit it later. And you can see it creates a record. If you go back to that payment request table, you can see it has the little edit pencil and a delete button right next to it. To edit it, you can either select the edit pencil here, or you can click back in and select the edit pencil from the top right. I am ready to submit this, so I'm going to go ahead and submit. It's very important to note, you cannot make any further changes after submission. Once it's submitted, it's in Wyoming's hands, and you won't be able to make any changes unless Wyoming rejects the payment request. So I will submit this, and then I will show you what a rejection email looks like. It's important to note rejection is a very scary word. It's a very big, it's not a fun word, but in this case, in UNA, all it is saying, hey, we need some more information for your payment request. You'll get an email that looks like this. It'll say, payment request rejected. Your payment request has been rejected, and it'll give you the payment request name. And if there are any comments we send to you, they will be in this email as well. Okay. So just to illustrate the inside and inter and intra milestone thing a little further, I could submit for engineering permitting 1, 2, and 3, but not engineering and permitting 1 and pre-deployment 1. Those would have to be done in separate payment requests. Moving on, the next most common place you'll be doing work is under this custom tab. In this case, I've configured a very early draft. This is not a final state. I wouldn't go taking this and preparing your reporting right away. I would wait for some more specific guidance. But in this quarterly BEAD report, just like creating any other object I've shown you so far, you start by clicking this plus button in the top right. and it takes you to the reporting. It'll ask you select the quarter you're reporting for. In this case, let's say I'm reporting for Q2 2026. I've deployed 3 milestones. I've passed 100 locations, and I'm just going to enter some more data to fill that out. Similarly to payment requests, I can click Save as Draft, and that'll save it. I can return to it later. You can see I have that pencil and trash can again. To click back in and edit, I will just finish uploading documents. Please upload your updated match tracking template. I will certify that everything is accurate, and I'll enter some text here. This I will submit. It is the same protocol as payment requests. Once you submit it, it cannot be edited unless we reject it, which will be the same process. You'll get a scary email that says this has been rejected and here's why. But in this case, I will just go ahead and submit it. That's the bulk of the functionality you'll be playing with. There are some other things that may be useful if you ever need to sift through your payment requests or awards or reporting. Any table that looks like this, you can click these carrots and it will let you sort ascending or descending by something. It'll let you add columns. So if I need to see which ones I've certified, I would click that. And I can move these columns around. And just to show you, I can do the same thing in the payment requests page. I can sort and move things around as needed. That is the rundown of the most important stuff you'll be doing in UNA. There will be some changes to the structure, but by the time you guys get in, but it will be by and large the same. You'll always access your payment requests through this post-award cash flow dropdown. You'll always access your reports through this custom dropdown. And there will be user guides, and we are always happy to answer technical support questions, give you a hand when things are giving you issues. That is what I got. That's the UNA rundown.
Thanks, Vince. And then, yeah, as people, if they have any questions, as they have time to come up with their questions, I'd just like to kind of remind everyone on this call that this UniGrants portal, this is how ultimately this is where ISPs will be storing their documentation, entering information about their milestones, and ultimately this is how you're going to get paid from your awards. So this is different from CPF, whereas those that participated in CPF, you send us an email. This award system for BEAD is different, and hopefully it'll be more streamlined, more effective, and this will be our system of record going forward for BEAD. So I really appreciate it. I'm not seeing any questions as of yet. We'll give it maybe just a couple more minutes. Mitch, I don't know if you had anything to kind of fill the air with.
I don't know if he's around, Chad, but I will also just mention, this was a lot to go through and kind of be thinking about as a new system. And we just want you all to know that there will be a user guide that is released. There will be additional trainings provided, but we wanted you to have exposure and understanding to the system with which you will start seeing stuff come in from. Like Vince shared and Chad shared, this is where you'll be doing your quarterly reporting and putting in all the documentation. Very much different. More training will be coming, but we did want to give you some time and space just to see this at this moment.
Thanks, Morgan. That's exactly right. Using a grants management system like this is sort of best practices for any state that's doing this program. It represents the the record retention that the state has to do. It's a one-stop shop for you to interact with us and get your documentation in correctly, and then we don't have to worry about emails or losing things to the chain of record. It is kind of, again, best practices to have something like this in place.
I have not seen any questions come through. I'm willing to give it another minute to see if there are any. I don't want to have anyone have any outstanding questions that are not answered.
And to your point, Morgan, as people start working in the system, if they've not done so in previous states, I'm sure questions will come up. We will be having additional guidance. We will be able to do TA and support as needed to make sure that questions are answered. I think, generally speaking, where we've seen this implemented elsewhere in CPF programs and some early movers on BEAD, we haven't had tons and tons of issues there. It is relatively intuitive once you figure it out. I say as a guy that sees it across several states, but again, it's been working pretty well where it's been working. So.
Mitch, I did see a question that just came in while we were talking. If we're using the system for a different state, will we use the same login or have to create a new one?
Yeah, that's a great question. It should be the same login, and it should populate with your other awards under this grant management grants. There can be some hiccups with merging those accounts. If you are having trouble merging the accounts once we get there, the merging should be automatic. But if it doesn't occur, if you don't see your grants, reach out to us and we will work with the folks at UNA to make sure that you can access your award.
When can we expect a link to create our accounts in this portal?
That might be a Bridget or Morgan question. Do you have an estimate?
It's going to be closer to when, after you sign their contract and it is all new vocabulary, right? We will upload it's called an opportunity into the system. And then I think once that happens, you will get a link and it kind of kicks off from there. So we're closely getting to, I would say, 45 days or so, you should see a link.
That makes sense. And part of how it works is we have to have contract information put into the opportunity for then you to access it. So it is kind of predicated on having your contracts finalized with the dollar amounts, the locations, et cetera, so that we can proceed from there.
All right. I'm not seeing any further questions. I think we're okay to head out for now. Looks like actually we got another question in. Is third-party access allowable for contractors or only the primary subgrantee? For example, if we have a sub to manage the program.
So you can give anyone access to this portal. You can give there's no restriction on the emails you add to the users list. I think that, again, sorry, this may be a Bridget or Morgan question. Are there restrictions on subcontractors?
So I'm not sure that there's necessarily restrictions. There are certain things that happen in the portal, depending on the setup, that require, the authorized representative, organizational representative to certify or sign. So as long as that is being done by the correct person, then I think we're in a good place. We'll just have to make sure that certain things can be uploaded by team members. There may be certain things that just, if there is a certifications or something that need to be signed, that it is being done by the correct user.
And that's also where these restrictions come in and permissions. If you say, have a subcontractor to manage your payment requests, you could restrict them from all sorts of things that isn't payment requests, and that may give you some added security.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think also when it gets closer to that date of the additional training that Morgan was talking about, if you do have anyone who's going to be assisting with this, and we'll send this in the email when that date is scheduled, but just make sure anyone who's going to be in this portal, make sure they attend and have the different materials. That'll definitely be helpful.
All right, great. Thank you, Bridget. Okay. And as I said before, this recording will be posted to our website along. Oh, we didn't have a presentation today. We just had a demonstration. Okay. This recording will be posted to our website. And then as Morgan and Bridget said that there will be additional trainings coming in regards to UNA. So keep an eye out for that. And also in the meantime, if there are any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. My email address is chad.bowling@wyo.gov. We're happy to help you and guide you however we can. So with that being said, have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Thanks.
Thank y'all. Bye.
Bye, y'all.